Hello and welcome back to Planet Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is The Boys, Season 2, Episode 2, Proper Planning or Proper Preparation and Planning. There we go. So 3 P's there. So welcome everybody. Sorry I'm a little bit late here. I actually had to restart my computer there for a second because shit happens, and we've got a fire going on like probably about 20 miles away from me. I could see a big plume of smoke, you know uh getting ready for power outages and obviously internet outages, things like that. So all kinds of hell breaking loose now at this point. Yeah. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get to it. How about that? If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, remember, take a look at the video that pops up here at the very end. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops up there just for you. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule I have set up there, and then also take a look at all the links that are there too for my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon, but no tier set up on the Patreon. There's also links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, my Facebook group page, where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right, that's out of the way. So sorry I'm a little bit late with this one. I was supposed to do some stuff yesterday, but of course, have a bit of a medical thing going on where I can't hear out of my right ear right now. I actually had to go over and see a doctor, and they can't figure out what the fuck it is. So right now I'm kind of deaf in one ear, and we'll find out what's going on there once my other doctor comes back from vacation. I've got antibiotics and whatnot, but yeah, I'm pretty much deaf in that ear at the moment. So lots of fun. But then again, I can only hear myself now at this point, and who cares? So let's get to this, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you haven't seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Okay, we got the spoiler alert going on. Sorry, I couldn't hear that one. What was that, Stanley? So what's going on with this? So the Billy's back, of course, and we find out a little bit about what happened. That basically he was just kind of dumped off. Homelander basically showed him that Becca's still alive. She had his kid, and then he dumped him off outside of Tony Cicero's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And he writes down as much as possible that he can remember after waking up. And he's got this list written in crayon on the back of a children's menu. And also finds out that he's wanted for Madeline Stillwell's murder as well. So that's how we start off everything, of course. And we also, Homelander decides to have a little family time. And Becca's not happy about all this stuff either. And we find out they made a little bit of a deal that she would raise his son, and he wouldn't kill Billy. That's the reason why Billy's still alive through all of this. That's why Homelander has not come after Billy, is because of Becca. And Homelander really is a just frightening individual, quite honestly. He the whole milk fetish thing, which is really weird. Just with cow's milk too in general. And he's going around her house basically just looking. He finds a little secret drawer that she has with all the pictures of her and Billy and all of that. And we also know that he can hear things over great distances because Becca takes off, goes to the gate. They're actually inside a gigantic community that's gated in, demands to talk to Mr. Park or Dr. Park. And Dr. Park says, you know what? What we're guessing is he's just going to get bored and he's going to fly away. Everything will be good. And later on, Homelander basically tells her, he goes, you're right. I'm not going to get bored and fly away. You should tell Dr. Park to go fuck himself. And it's like, wow. So he just heard that from miles away because she was watching him on the camera in her house while she was in the booth. And fuck, man, that's just wrong right there. So in the meantime, Billy and his crew, of course, are hunting down the super terrorist, who turns out to be Kimiko's brother. Yeah. And the whole Shining Light Liberation Army, they were a part of course, were the ones that brought him over. And Billy has made a deal with Mallory, who really isn't with the CIA anymore, but is working through the CIA at this point, that if he can bring in the super terrorist, she'll try and find out where Becca is because he doesn't know where she is. But he lies, of course, to the group, as he always does, and says that they're going to get their records expunged from the CIA and all this stuff. And yeah, and of course, there's a little leadership dynamic struggle that's going on too, where you know Billy's back, but not everyone trusts him, of course. And Huey is just flat out just going, "What the fuck are you doing, man? Why are you back here?" You know, um, it's and he's questioning him all the time. And Billy doesn't want to be questioned. He really doesn't. And at one point, Billy's like, "Fuck you, Huey. You're staying. Everyone else come with me." And Frenchie and Mother's Milk are like, "No, not gonna happen. Kimiko's part of our group as well, and we all go or none of us go." You know, and so yeah, so that's when Billy comes clean about Becca's still alive, that he made that deal with Mallory, and all of this stuff. And yeah, that's really really fucked up. And of course, at the end, we see that Kimiko has to knock out her own brother because he's really indoctrinated now into that Shining Light Liberation Army thing, and they take him with them. And of course, Billy punches out Huey, or punches him once, basically just says, "Don't get between me and my missus ever again." Yeah. And yes, the Compound V. Thank you for reminding me, Morks. We also have Starlight, who has blackmailed her old Capes for Christ Gecko teammate into stealing Compound V from the lab that he works for, and he gives it to her. And in the meantime, A Train is back. He's out of the hospital, and he's sniffing around her. He knows exactly what happened. He remembers everything, and he doesn't trust her, and rightly so. And they're on a press junket, her and Stormfront, and it was supposed to be Queen Maeve as well, but that isn't happening because Queen Maeve has gone off on her own little side tangent. But Stormfront gives Starlight some good advice. She basically says, "Who's the best superhero in the world?" And then she mentions Pippi Longstocking. And for those of you kids out there who don't know, in the 70s, there's a couple of movies, Pippi, 70s, 80s, somewhere around there. There are some Pippi Longstocking movies. They tried making it into a franchise. It didn't catch on, of course. And she says she's the most badass superhero, and she goes, "Pippi Longstocking didn't give a fuck," as she says. And Starlight kind of takes it to heart. She finally, when A Train comes in and finds that she's got the Compound V, she pushes back and says, "You're not going to tell anyone shit, because you would have already told somebody by now and I would be dead already." And so she takes the Compound V back from him and tells him to leave, and he does. And it's like, fuck yeah, you know um some interesting shit there. And then, of course, we have the Deep. The Deep being indoctrinated into this church, who really fucking like their Fresca. um Eagle is out there buying 2 6-packs of Fresca, bringing them back, and also some shrooms, because what goes good with Fresca but some shrooms, and a little shroom tea. And what ends up happening is the Deep ends up talking to his gills that are on his the side of his stomach there, on his abs, and it's voiced by none other than Patton Oswalt. Everyone was trying to figure out who the fuck Patton Oswalt was going to play when they heard that he was cast in The Boys. This is the character that Patton Oswalt was playing, was the Gills, or Gills as they're called. That's, if you take a look at the subtitles on it, it says Gills. And I love how it just keeps calling him Kevin. Listen to me, Kevin. Look at us, Kevin. Look at us, Kevin. Ah, man. Yeah, I know Pippi Longstocking was very popular in Europe, Stanley, but yeah, it never caught on here. They tried. They really, really tried, but it didn't work. I mean, they tried for, like, a good 20 years, never caught on here. I remember in grade school, way back when, the memory's still kinda foggy, but they were pushing Pippi Longstocking a lot, the Scholastic Reader and all that kinda stuff, and it just never caught on. Americans. What can I say? So yeah, we had a lot of shit happening. So the Deep actually has his breakthrough moment too with the shrooms and talking to his gills that he was an asshole and basically he was humiliating and rejecting women before they could do the same to him. And not that it's right or anything, that's what was going on. And he finally had his breakthrough moment through the shrooms in the church, I guess. And yeah, yeah, some weird ass shit. Oh, and Queen Maeve, I forgot. Queen Maeve went off on her own little tangent. Elena, her ex-girlfriend, was in the hospital for appendicitis, and she finally comes clean to her about Homelander and that she never wants Homelander ever know about Elena because that would put Elena's life in danger. And she relates a little story about them going to the Oscars and a producer switching name tags and how the producer ended up dead uh, the following week with his head in one room and the torso in the other, and his room on fire. His office is on fire. So yeah, and she basically told Elena, she goes, "I told you this because I don't want you to hate me anymore," kind of thing. Which you're seeing that Maeve does have a conscience. She doesn't want to live with this shit anymore, and she's kind of breaking through that or trying to at least, but she doesn't know how to do it properly because Homelander is a fucking psycho and kind of invincible at this moment. And I think later on down the line here, we're going to have Maeve might even be working with, you know, I'm fairly sure Maeve's going to die because of this, but Maeve's going to be working with Starlight and the boys in order to take down the Seven, but she's going to die in the process. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen here. She's going to have her aha moment. Elena's going to die. We already know Elena's going to die. This is a given because it's Homelander. He's a fucking psychopath. He's going to find out. He's got the super hearing. They've already set this up that he knows what's going on with Queen Maeve. And yeah, Elena's dead. Work says when she confesses to Elena, you could see that she was kind of afraid. Wonder if she thought Homelander could have listened to that too, or maybe he can unless he specifically focuses. Yeah, I'm sure he can only focus on certain things one at a time. But he's supposed to be evil Superman, essentially what he is. He can, hear everything. He's got super strength, flight. He's got the lasers out of his eyes. He's invulnerable. But yes, he is supposed to be Superman. Yeah. Stanley Tweedle says, when will the boys start taking performance enhancers? When will they start taking Compound V? Your guess is as good as mine, but my guess is it's either the penultimate episode before the season end or at the end of the season. Basically, that's what I'm thinking they're going to happen, when it's going to happen. And that's a comic book thing that happened. So I'm fairly sure that's what's going to end up happening. Since they keep getting they get their hands on Compound V every now and then. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. But supposedly it hurts like a motherfucker in order to take it. So we'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, all they have right now is the female, or Kimiko. In the book, she's called the female. That's why I keep referring to her as the female. But it's actually in the show they named her the Kimiko, which is good. What about Stormfront, Marks? Yeah. Yeah, they changed Mother's Milk a little bit too. Stormfront was a guy, and they did do the whole history of Vought, though the World War II history, but that was Stormfront's history as well. So the original Stormfront from the comics was the first superhero. He was a Nazi. He still is. And he was, of course, made into like a Superman, uh, and he's not old in the comics. He still looks like he's in his 30s, 40s, something like that. But he's fucking super racist and he's super strength and all that stuff too. Yeah. And kind of like what they did with the rocket men from NASA, the German rocket men who were Nazis. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. They brought him over to the United States and naturalized him into being a U.S. citizen. Yeah. But Stormfront is a little bit different. This Stormfront, the female version of it, we'll see how what they do here. Yeah. Yes, Von Braun. There was actually seven or eight of them. Stanley, I can't remember offhand their names, but they were the ones that basically NASA is founded off of. But Von Braun was, yes, the main one there. Yes. So, history lesson aside, good episode. We got things moving along here, humming along, and this is just going to end in a world of shit. It really is. It's really going to end in a world of shit. So, yeah. Stanley says, but von Braun built the V2 rocket for them. Yeah, he did. Didn't he? Yeah. And the US, the Allies basically forgave him for it so that he could build rockets to the moon and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, our Viking bitch says they have definitely changed the story from the comics, but I still love the show. Yeah. I like what they've done. And some stuff they toned down, which needed to be toned down. Some stuff they ramped up and kind of surprised us with. And there's other stuff that's being sprinkled in here and there. And it's Eric Kripke, of course, who's doing this. I know Derek is working on it too. So if you've seen Derek's artwork in this, in the first episode, we had all his comics that are lining the wall when Huey is walking out of the shop. Um, what else do we have? The when the guy is pitching the Seven movie, that's all Derek's artwork. That's up on the boards up there. That's all artwork he did for the show. So yes, they are working with Derek on this, and that's really kind of cool. I like that they are doing that. Stanley Tweedle says, I found episode 1 pretty exhausting. I had to stop after that one, needed a pause. Yeah, I can see that. That's why I'm saying it's better that they're doing these one episode a week, and you need to have one episode a week to digest this stuff. And yeah, it can be with what's going on in the world today and all that stuff. We need to have a little more time in between to accept it and then move on. I guess you could say no, none of this binging shit, man. I mean, yeah. This weekend's just been tough for, what was it? We had so the boys dropped, Raised by Wolves also dropped, the first 3 episodes, and so I'm finishing that up too, by the way. That's gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna do that. If you go and take a look at the schedule, I've got things reschedulized here. And yes, I'm doing Lovecraft, and Lovecraft dropped early too. Lovecraft was like, Lovecraft Country was like, sure, what the fuck? We'll drop it on Thursday. Like, you motherfuckers. I'm doing that later on today. At 5 o'clock is when I'm doing Lovecraft Country episode 4. So 5 p.m. my time. Yes, Pacific Standard Time. Internet connection withstanding and fires and all that stuff too. So yeah, so what is going on for the rest of this week? Like I said, Lovecraft Country episode 4 is at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. Tomorrow, I'm going to finish up The Boys episode 3 and also Raised by Wolves episode 3. I'm going to finish both of those tomorrow. Tuesday is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, I'm going to do Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2. I thought about doing the Hilary Swank series that's on Netflix right now, but I was like, No, I need to kind of go through that one slowly, and then I'll do that. Um, and Wednesday I'm going to be off. Thursday is going to be a new episode of Raised by Wolves. Friday will be a new episode of The Boys. Saturday will be Saturday Morning Blast Off, since I missed yesterday's, of course. And that's where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about when we talk about it. And then Sunday will be Lovecraft Country, episode 5. And there we go. We go all the way around. That looks like a snooze fest. What, the Hillary Swank one? We'll see. I don't know. I've heard good things about it, but who knows? It could be another Sean Penn, navel gazing bullshit Mars thing. Honestly, there was like 15 of those shows that came about. I mean, Apple TV had 10 of them, I think, and you know, yeah. The Amazon one though with Sean Penn was just fucking boring. My God, it was like, get to Mars already, you know? Get your ass to Mars. That's pretty much what they need to do. They need to put Schwarzenegger in there. Kill a lot of people. Yeah. Stanley said, I think Sean Penn's series had some visual style at least. The visual style is great, but if you're doing a movie, if you're doing a series, fucking have a story. And if you're going to do it about Mars, make it about Mars. Set it on Mars. Don't set it on Earth, because no one wants to fucking watch that shit. Because then it just gets boring, especially with Sean Penn. Sean Penn, I'm sorry, but his acting has gone in the last 10 years. So, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Well, at least until 5 p.m. That's what I'm going to do here. Thank you, everybody who watched today in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, where you will find the links to all my social media. You'll find the schedule for the week as well. And what else is there? The link to my YouTube channel here, my Facebook page, and my Facebook group page, where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. So until 5 p.m., don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may have to find a hiding place for that compound V, because hiding it in the tampon bag just isn't going to work, because A-Train looks there too. Thanks, everybody. I will talk to you in a little bit here. Until then, stay safe and be well, and I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks, everybody.